Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. It's been a nice long hiatus. Life has gotten in the way a bit for us here at Football Worldwide, but this year we're not doing European Weekly Catch Up. We're doing the European Sit Down. And in today's episode, I am joined by Jono. How are you, mate?
Good, man. Good. It's been a minute. It's been a minute since we have done one of these, but far out. I've missed you guys. I've missed you, Bruno. Exactly like you said. Unfortunately, at times, life just gets in the way when you've got kids and families and moving houses like what we both have been doing. So happy to that the new season is coming up upon us very quickly and looking forward to seeing what surprises this season has in store for us.
Yeah, well, today's episode is, the Premier League kicks off in a couple of days. So we're in the middle of one of the wildest transfer markets. So today we're going to go through the leagues, give you our predictions for, top four. We didn't do too bad last year. We
No, it
didn't
weren't
do
that
too
bad.
bad. But we'll give you our predictions for the top four and just talk transfer news. But it's going to be a lot more casual, a lot more relaxed, a lot more let's get into it. So where we're going to start today, we'll start with the English Premier League.
Back to one of our most favourite leagues, mate. And what didn't it go down to the wire, mate? What a end of the season the last season was. Your Manchester City got up at the end, but far out, they made a bit of a mess of it just before the end of it when they were miles ahead halfway through in the season.
Yeah, look, they ended up scraping through with a 1 point win, league win over Liverpool. And then it was 18 points to third place. So Liverpool, Man City and Liverpool were far too good in last season. But I'll throw it to you first. We've seen a lot of movement this transfer market. So where do you see the Premier League going this time?
To be honest, to me, it's still pretty much a two-horse race between Liverpool and Manchester City. I think the additions of or the loss of Mane is going to be a big one, but the to get a proper number 9, how do I say his name again, Bruno? Is it Nunez? Yep, Nunez from Porto. He's a amazing addition, and he, we saw in the charity game, the charity cup game the other day, just what a difference a proper number 9 can make. Manchester City are gonna still need a bit of time to get used to Haaland, but I don't know. To me, it's still out of those two, but I think it's going to be a lot closer for a bit longer than what we expected the last season to be. So yeah.
Yeah, well, look, I see it going down to the wire much more than this, and I don't see it being a two-horse race this season. I see a couple of teams coming into it. Manchester City, they finally got their number 9 in Haaland, and they also got Alvarez from River Plate, who has been absolutely phenomenal in that league there, but it's a different sport when you've come into the Premier League. So they've reinforced the attack, and they've also got Calvin Phillips from Leeds. So that will be an interesting addition for City as well. But some of their departures is the storyline here when it comes to City, and they sold Raheem Sterling to Chelsea, and you're basically strengthening another rival. And Liverpool copped the criticism when they sold Sterling to City, and now City sold him to Chelsea. They also sold Gabriel Jesus to Arsenal, who also scooped up Zinchenko from Manchester City, who looked like a promising young player who I thought was going to be part of their foundation for the time to come. So with that being said, I do really see Chelsea coming into the mix. They got rid of Lukaku, who was a thorn in their side. He went back to Inter. We will talk about that loan deal when we get to the Serie A. But they're actually now in the race for Frankie de Jong from Barcelona, who has been linked with Manchester United this entire transfer window. And they're also looking to get, I can't pronounce his name properly, from Brighton, Korkella, I believe it is.
Yeah,
And
lucky that
Manchester
was.
City were leading the race for that, and Chelsea's now trying to hijack that. But let's talk Champions League spots. Who do you see taking the top 4 this season in the Premier League?
Top 4, pretty much I see the same as last year, to be perfectly honest. Instead, I actually think Tottenham's going to probably finish third ahead of Chelsea this year. I just think, in my opinion, it'll be first and second out of Liverpool and Man City. Then, in my opinion, you're going to have, Conte's built a formidable side. The addition of Perisic from Inter, as we know, with some other amazing signings that they've gotten on free, he's really bolstered and strengthened up that squad. And as an Inter supporter, with what we are, mate, we know what Antonio Conte can get up to, and he will really be drilling that team. A full preseason under his belt, a full 12 months with this team, they're going to be going from strength to strength.
Yeah, I like to disagree with your statement there, just because I just think Chelsea are making moves. These new owners have come in with a point to prove, and I just really think they started last season off really well, and they faded off a bit with the whole Lukaku drama, and it just derailed their season, to be honest. But you look at it now, they're just building and building, and they're not holding back this season. Tottenham, yeah, like you said.
I just want to stop you one sec there, though, Bruno. My thing with Chelsea, and I think the thorn in this year is for them is going to be Tuchel. We've seen the fallout he's had with Lukaku, the fallout that he's maybe had with Werner, who looks like he might be moving to Juventus or back to Germany for RB Leipzig. So there's, I'll be, if things turn sour, I wouldn't be too surprised if he doesn't last till the end of the season.
Yeah, look, it would definitely not be surprising, but at the same time, when you've got the team you have, sometimes it's just hard to lose. It's a lot harder to lose than it is to win. But I just think Arsenal, they're just going leaps and bounds this transfer window. So I can't pick a top 4. I can pick a top 5. I chuck Spurs in there. But I think the biggest talking point of the Premier League is Manchester United. They're failing to get their players. They're failing to get those targets. And at the same time, they had De Jong. No, he doesn't want to go there. Now Chelsea's coming in to hijack that. They have Ronaldo, who just wants to get out of there. He wants Champions League, and Tag doesn't seem to be getting what he wants from Manchester United at this point. I think the only biggest signing, I think, in their eyes is Christian Eriksen from Brentford, who was a free transfer because he only signed the 1-season deal. So do you really see them contesting? I've seen reports that the expectation's not there for the team this year.
No, I don't think Manchester United are going to be doing too much, to be perfectly honest. Erik ten Hag, credit to him, and he's a bit of a visionary. After seeing a few Ajax matches last year, he's really, if he gets the full backing of the club, he'll be able to take that club to leaps and bounds and back to their old glory days of Sir Alex Ferguson, in my opinion. But he's going to need the time, and to be perfectly honest, he needs someone like Ronaldo out of the squad for him to be able to implement the changes that he wants to change without getting any backlash from the rest of the team.
Yeah, and it's, they got rid of Pogba, who was a problem to them. He's now injured, so they're saying he'll be out until potentially World Cup, and he'll be missing that. Ronaldo wants out, but no team wants to see that marketing machine in Cristiano Ronaldo leave their club. But
yeah,
I think that's where we leave the Premier League, because we've got a lot of fans here. We had Cheb Khaled come in and say, "Power to you, but I'm only interested in the Italian league." So we're going to take your advice there. Let's move straight into it. The Serie A.
Serie A, still one of our most favourite, because we watch this so dearly with our beloved Inter. But anyway, it is what it is. Let's get right back into it. Great finish the end of the season, in all seriousness, and credit has to go to AC Milan. The way that they finished the end of the season A lot of people thought that they would lose their steam, such a young team, but they held their nerve right to the end. So credit where credit's due. Well, I think it was 7 consecutive wins the end of the season, and no losses in the last 10. So you got to give it to them. That's a champion team for what it is. Inter had their chances. Their mid-season dip after Champions League kind of made them slip a fair bit. They had their chances though, so it'll be interesting to see if Inzaghi can definitely make up for those lost points from last season, and then take it into consideration, like you said before, Bruno. Juventus are now, they've made some moves. They're going to be a force to reckon with once again. There's still a few things that need to take place. Roma also, coming right back into the mix with everything, but there's a lot happening, mate. It's going to be an exciting season, that's for sure.
So Roma, I believe, had one of the best transfer markets in the Serie A this season, just bolstering their squad with Dybala. Mourinho got his man in Nemanja Matic from Manchester United, and you know why he's getting that player. You know why he's getting them there, and it's not to play every single game and every single minute. It's to be in that back room, be that leader that Mourinho lacks in his squad. And even Tammy Abraham came out and said, "I love playing here. I love playing with Mourinho." And Mourinho's name and his team is the first name on the Conference League title, and I just think this year they're going to be something special, this Roma team. And there's been many rumors as well coming around of potential signings, but we're not going to get into the rumors here. And just saying on that perspective, you've got Mourinho, one of the greatest managers. I think, if not the greatest manager the Serie A has seen, with just simply what he did with Inter in the treble season. But it wasn't a fluke. He's done it everywhere he's gone, essentially. So you can't count him off. AC Milan, they re-signed Zlatan. Giroud's there. Is the hype train going to run out with AC Milan? Do you see them contesting for another title? Are they going to go 2 in a row?
To be honest, I didn't even see them winning the title that they just won, but they proved me wrong. And, credit's got to be given to Pioli as well. He held their nerve. He guided them through. He broke his duck. Him, Spalletti, Inzaghi, they were these managers that have had their chances in the past and haven't been able to, deliver at the end. Pioli's broken that duck now. And I think he's grown as a manager because of this. And I think he'll only get better. With Zlatan backing him as well and having Maldini in the background stuff, you can't take that away. That experience and that grinta, as we would say, the guidance of what you would get out of those people alone is more than enough to be able to push them through. I didn't think they would do it this year, but who knows? They could definitely do it again because they've got a young squad. They're a year older. They've got all those combinations together again. Their squad hasn't changed too much. And now they're the champions. So they could definitely do it again.
Yeah, and just on what you said, their squad hasn't changed too much. They've gotten Charles de Ketelere from Club Rouge as a defender. He's a centre forward. To bolster up front there. They got Origi on a free transfer as well. And they got Florenzi from Roma. I think it was for roughly 2 million. So, they've strengthened. Have they strengthened enough if you compare to the rest of Italy? I don't know. We've got a lot of Inter fans here. So shout out to the Inter fans, guys. And don't forget, if you want to get more football information, don't forget to like and subscribe here at Football Worldwide, because we will be definitely a bit more consistent with our content, that's for sure. But
and don't forget to be mentioning Anthony from Inter Worldwide does run his own show, the City Out Roundtable on Football Worldwide, where he catches up with a panel of guests every week when he can to discuss everything what's happened on match day for the previous match day for the Serie A.
Yes, so back to Inter, they got Lukaku, and the papers all said they had signed Dybala. The papers all said that they had signed Bremer. None of that came to fruition in the end. And you just got to think to yourself, is Lukaku going to be the pivotal change when it comes to this Inter squad? Like, they got Bellanova, they got Onana as a goalkeeper, Mkhitaryan as well. He was signed. But essentially, we're looking at a team who, do you think, has evolved enough to contend for the title? When you look at Juventus, who are signing players, you look at Roma, the caliber of players they're signing, and Milan, they've got the hype train. They can ride this wave.
The difference between Inter and Juventus is Inter were only, what was it, Bruno? 2 points behind, 1 win behind to take the title. So they were there. They lost it themselves when they conceded in the when they lost the derby, and then during that patch period where they went downhill. Juventus had a horrible start of last season. They were miles off the pace. They weren't even going to make the top 4, only because of the acquisition of Vlahovic in the January transfer market, which brought them back. Otherwise, they would have been completely decimated and completely out of contention whatsoever. They have had to make big moves this season. The loss of De Ligt is massive for that team. The loss of Chiellini is even bigger. They've lost one of their best, two of their best out of their centre backs in that squad. Yes, they've gotten Bremer, but let's be perfectly honest. He's only played for Torino, and he hasn't been proven. He hasn't done anything in Champions League, international, whatsoever. So it'll be interesting to see what Juventus midfield has strengthened, and their front line has strengthened as well. The acquisition of Di Maria as well, who I think is a brilliant signing, in my opinion. I think he's not past it, and he's still got heaps to offer, especially before the World Cup come December. So he's going to be wanting to be jumping out of his skin to get on that ticket to go to Qatar. In saying that, Chiesa is coming back. Pogba is out injured, which he has not elected to have the surgery, I found out this afternoon, Bruno. He's actually going to do a rehab session, which will take him out for 5 weeks. So he's going to be missing only the first 3 to 4 rounds of the season, and he'll be back with a couple of rounds to go before the World Cup.
Yeah, so top 4, shoot.
Inter, Milan, Juventus, Roma.
Yeah, look, I got to agree. And the only change to last year's top 4 would be Napoli out and Roma in. And you just look at the Napoli squad. They've signed youth, but they lost Insigne. They lost Mertens. They lost Koulibaly, who we didn't mention about Chelsea. So that's how strong Chelsea's been this transfer market. You don't even mention Koulibaly going there. But I just feel they lost a lot, and they put a Band-Aid on top. Just to, we got to replace this. Mertens was a big surprise to me. Apparently, him and De Laurentiis never came to an agreement. I'm not 100% sure in regards to how that went down. But at the same time, I just feel the caliber of player that they did lose was nowhere near met by the caliber of player that they brought in. So I do see them dropping out. And surprisingly, Atalanta, I don't even think will play in the Europa League next season. It qualify for the Europa League, that is, just because they're lacking. So these predictions are definitely going to change. The transfer market's still open for a couple of weeks.
We'll lock in our proper transfer, our proper top 4s with who we think is going to be top 4 after the Mercato's finished.
Yeah, definitely. I always have the analogy. I like to wait 4 or 5 games because you can have the best transfer market in the world. Doesn't mean your players are going to click. With that being said, one of the most active leagues this transfer market's been La Liga. So let's move across to there.
The La Liga, one something that is very dear to my heart. Look, let's be perfectly honest. We're only going to be talking about the two teams here: Real Madrid and Barcelona. Real Madrid doing the absolute impossible last year, winning the Champions League, winning the league, doing it with ease. Carlos Ancelotti, in my mind now, has to be probably the greatest manager of all time for what he achieved with that squad. To win the Champions League and to go through the teams that he did. Let's remember PSG, dead and buried with 20 minutes to go in the second leg. Chelsea, same scenario, dead and buried with 10 minutes to go in the second leg. Manchester City, exactly the same. And then to win against Liverpool in the final, that is a champion squad. That is a proper Champions League winner, and they deserve all the praise. And Carlos Ancelotti for all he did with that squad. They are not the best squad in the world, but there is something special about Real Madrid where you can't help but think these guys are the epitome of world football.
Yeah, look, I like that point. They're not the best squad in the world, but I feel they're the best team.
Yeah,
On that field, they play collectively and the never die attitude. They don't care if they're up 3-0. We're not slacking off. They don't care if they're down 3-0. There's still a hope. And we saw that in the transfer window. Notably, this transfer market, they signed Rudiger for free from Chelsea, which is a massive acquisition on their behalf. And they also got a defensive midfielder in, I'm gonna say it wrong, but Aurelian Tuchomeni from Monaco.
yeah.
I know I said that wrong, but it did cost them 80 million. He is 22 years old. He is a French national. But look, I think, yeah, they might be too good, but Barcelona, they're making moves, Jono.
And they got to be the talking point of the transfer market. And let's be perfectly honest, how much would Chelsea fans absolutely hate Barcelona this transfer window? Because if Chelsea was interested, Barcelona signed him. Rafinha, Lewandowski, the defender that they got from Sevilla.
Kunde.
Yeah, that's the one. And wow, what a transfer market Barcelona has had. With Travi molding that squad and having the time of what he has only in the last 6 to 8 months, having a full preseason under his belt with these new acquisitions, to me, not just the fact that Barcelona are going to be title contenders for the La Liga now, they're going to be a formidable team for the actual Champions League as well. Let's be perfectly honest. If Lewandowski can hit the ground running, and let's be perfectly honest, Ousmane Dembele this off season has absolutely blitzed it and looked like he is almost back to his Borussia Dortmund days from when they signed him from 5 years ago. We had him here in Australia not too long ago, Bruno, and he absolutely demolished our All Stars team without even breaking a sweat, which probably isn't too hard anyway. But he looks like he's back at his best. He's enjoying his football. Having the piece, the chess piece here is having Xavi back at Barcelona though. Having that
Yeah,
team and having someone that has that Barcelona DNA through and throughout them, he's just he's brought this team back from oblivion.
yeah, and we saw they were sitting in eighth position just before Christmas last year until Xavi came in and he revolutionised the squad. He brought Aubameyang in straight off the bat on the transfer deadline day and managed to get that. And then one of AC Milan's biggest players last season in Kessié,
Mm,
well, he signed him.
yep.
Christensen from Chelsea, he signed him. Rafinha from Leeds, he signed him. Lewandowski, Kunde. I think this team here has the makings of the Spanish PSG. But the difference between Barcelona and PSG is Barcelona have competition within the league, whereas PSG don't. And Barcelona can't rely on the names on the back of the jersey. They need a gel, and Xavi has shown he can do it with the youth, but can he do it with Lewandowski and Aubameyang and maintain uh, this their performances at such a high level? I don't know. I personally think he might need half a season, but you can't give Real Madrid half a season to play catch up.
I tend to think the other way, Bruno. I actually think he can, purely for the point there that now for me the difference between Barcelona and PSG, for example, is Barcelona is a top tier club in the sense that they've got the history behind them. Lewandowski said to his manager, "I'm only signing for Barcelona." Rafinha originally said, "I'm only signing for Barcelona." Kessie, before he was going to re-sign with AC Milan, said, "Once Barcelona came knocking on the door, I'm signing for Barcelona." So who they've acquired wants to play for the jersey and actually wants to be there. And I think having Xavi as your actual manager itself, you've instilled the best of what we know from the Barcelona DNA. So I don't think he's going to have the problems of what PSG have had in the past, purely for the fact that who he has there wants to be there.
Yeah, and I just think the players know what they're capable in this team and what is capable. They're capable to come last, but they're capable to win absolutely everything there is to win,
Definitely.
from the domestic league all the way to the Champions League. So anything is possible there. Other big transfer news coming out of Spain was the Cunade transfer from Sevilla to Barcelona, but it's also Aubameyang, sorry, Luis Suarez departed Atletico. He went
Back to
back to
Uruguay.
his Uruguay where he first started. He's gone full circle now. And you also have Atletico signed Witzel from Borussia Dortmund.
Yes.
But how do you see this panning out? Do you see two teams running away with it and the rest playing catch up?
Yeah, definitely. And I don't think, in saying that, I still think Real Madrid are probably favourites, but not by much. In all seriousness, if this Barcelona team can hit the ground running, I definitely think they're going to really take it to almost the last match day or last couple of games to Real Madrid. If not, it wouldn't even surprise me if they came away with the title, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah. So let's move on to Germany because we've mentioned a lot of the transfers out of Germany. We'll start with Dortmund because one of the most prolific strikers of the last couple of seasons has moved on to Manchester City, Erling Haaland, but they don't seem to have filled the gap. And I just think it's going to go back to the point where they're just chasing their tail. They signed Sebastian Halle from Ajax, but I don't know. Is it a case of too little, too late? You can't replace someone like Haaland, so we
And
got to change it up.
and unfortunately, Hala has been diagnosed with testicular cancer, so he is off and won't be playing for the distant future. So there is no return date as to when he might actually even be back to playing. In saying that, though, Bruno, the interesting comments or rumors, whatever you want to call them, going around is the fact that Ronaldo has came out and said that he's open for a move to go to Germany. Now, everyone thought, going to more than likely Borussia,
Bayern
Bayern
Munich.
Munich. But Bayern Munich have come out and said, yeah, we're fans of him, but you don't fit our form, you don't fit our plans. So in saying that, I'm not sure. I'm really not sure what I still think it's going to be a one-horse race in the German Bundesliga, unfortunately. That's just how that league is run, as well as Ligue 1 with the French league. But, stranger things have happened, I suppose. But, when you got the juggernaut like Bayern Munich winning 10 in a row,
Lewandowski departed. So what do they go and do? They go and sign Mane. And they're like, all right, we might not be as good in attack with Mane. Let's sign De Ligt. Let's reinforce that part as well. And they just do this year after year. They reinforce their squad to the point where you can lose your 50-goal a season scorer and someone else is going to come in and do just as well. Or, you don't need them to do just as well. There's 36 games. If they score 1 goal a game and your defense is too solid, well, you've won. So essentially, they know what they're doing. All credit to them. Really not much more. Bayern, do you think they take it out again?
Unfortunately, yes. And I say unfortunately purely for the fact that you don't want to see a league with 10 years in a row of the same winner make it maybe 11 this year. It's not right. It's they say that, there was always talk that the French league was a farmers league, but let's be perfectly honest, with only one team winning it every year in the German Bundesliga, is that really far behind?
Yeah, exactly. Well, can you can't really say much there. Let's move on to the final league, which is the Uber Eats Leg 1. Predictions?
I don't know. I think Bordeaux is going to come back from League 3 and go back into League 2. No. Look, let's be honest. It's going to be PSG. Everyone knows it's going to be PSG. It'll be how much can they do it, but their focus is only going to be Champions League this year. Their manager, though, after sacking Pochettino in the off season, is a hard taskmaster, and he's already got this team into shape and combining quite well. They won their domestic cup last week as well. Messi getting man of the match in that performance.
And Neymar handing out the medals.
Exactly. That was an interesting part as well. So, look, Mbappe is recommitted, which was the other big news, that obviously he didn't go to Real Madrid. So, in saying that, I think PSG's main goal is going to be Champions League this year. And then it's the whole fact of, what else, how much can we win by, and this and that. And I think the manager that they've appointed for PSG, PSG we know is full of egos. Look at that team. It's a prima donna team. It's a FIFA team. It's a FIFA ultimate team. But, Messi didn't have his best season last season. Obviously, he was still getting accustomed to the league. I think he's going to be better for it this season. Mbappe is still going to be smashing him and probably getting close to a Ballon d'Or if it doesn't go to Benzema, in my opinion. And then in saying that, it's all about if Neymar will actually pull his socks up and show what he can really do.
Yeah, well, what's unique about this season is there's a World Cup smack bam right in the middle of the season. So the players, will they be given it 100% beforehand? Well, the players like Neymar, Messi, and Mbappe, who are already in this, they know they're in their international squads, most probably not want to risk injury against the likes of Clermont Foot. In the same essence, you're going to have players who are trying to break into that squad, playing their absolute heart out. But you also got to look at what else is happening in the league. Marseille, they signed, they're on the brink of signing Alexis Sanchez from Inter Milan. Once that all goes down, they signed Nuno Tavares from Arsenal. Nice signed Aaron Ramsey as a free agent. So there are other names going around, but nothing along the lines to, keep up with the likes of PSG. And I think game of the round is going to be Clermont hosting PSG on Sunday morning at 5 a.m. And that they were our team at the start of last season, so that
And they
led
stayed up.
on. Hmm?
They stayed up after their first season in the first division. They stayed
Yeah,
up.
yeah. Well, League One kicks off as well as the Premier League this weekend. I gotta say also the Bundesliga also kicks off. I'm pretty sure it's those
Yeah,
three leagues this week, and then the Serie A as well as
La Liga.
as well as La Liga kick off the following week. So we do have 3 weeks worth of 3 leagues worth of action coming up. So we will get to see some superstars in action. Jonathan, it's been a pleasure. I've missed this.
It's been good. It's nice to be back. It's nice to see your beautiful face once again, and it's nice to talk football once again. To be honest, Bruno, it's definitely something that had to take a back burner for both of us at the end of midway through last season. But guys, we're gonna be really trying to make content every week, if not every couple of weeks, as much as what we can. Just make sure to keep an eye out, like and subscribe. We always love presenting for you guys. We only do this purely for the love of the sport. We don't get anything out of this. So, yeah.
And
Thanks again, Bruno.
like last season, we will be hopefully hosting a live stream for the Champions League draw. Let's just hope this time they draw
They get it right.
properly. They get it right the first time, because the draw was at 1 a.m. I'm here with Uncle Sharma and a couple of other guests, and then there's gonna be a redraw. When's that? 3 a.m. Oh.
Mm,
Well, we're doing it for the fans. We're coming back.
that's it.
Yeah, look, so we will be bringing content. It will be a lot more relaxed, but we also want you guys to get involved. So from all of us here at Football Worldwide, thank you, and we'll see you soon. Ciao.
Ciao.